All right, let's talk about the VisaPics API. If you're a developer, you've probably wrestled with complex photo processing at some point, right? Well, this toolkit is designed to basically save you from that headache by letting you integrate some seriously powerful features directly into your apps.
I mean, as a dev, you know the struggle, building out features like professional-grade background removal or, making sure photos meet strict government compliance standards. It's not just a challenge, it's a massive headache and a huge time sink.
And this is exactly where the VisaPics API comes in. It basically gives you this super streamlined solution to handle all those complex tasks with simple, elegant API calls. So you can get back to focusing on your core product instead of getting bogged down building complex photo tools from scratch.
So what's actually in this toolkit? Let's break down the core endpoints that can power pretty much anything, right? We're talking e-commerce platforms trying to boost conversions, or social media apps that just want cleaner-looking content. First up is AI-powered background removal. This is perfect for generating those clean, consistent product shots, and we all know that increases sales, or for standardizing user profile pictures. You can specify a white background, make it transparent for PNGs, or you can even pop in a custom hex color to perfectly match your brand. Super flexible. Next, there's the AI Face Enhancement. So this thing uses GFPGAN technology to automatically upscale and, just improve photos that your users submit. It'll fix blemishes, sharpen up details. It's just a fantastic way to boost the quality of all that user-generated content on your platform, and it makes everything look way more professional. And of course, you also get fully customizable watermarks to protect your images. You can add text or a logo, control its position and opacity, and even create tiled patterns for maximum coverage. And you can do all of that with just one simple API call.
Okay, and check this out. You also get complete control over EXIF metadata. And get this, even with the free endpoints. You can either pull out every single piece of data, from camera info down to GPS coordinates, or you can strip it all out to protect user privacy. That is such a crucial feature in today's world, right?
Okay, so those are the general utilities. But beyond all that, the API has this one incredibly powerful specialized function that honestly sets it apart from everything else: processing official government ID photos.
Get this. The API has built-in specs for over 950 official document types. That's not a typo, 950. We're talking passports, visas, and ID cards. And it covers the super specific requirements for 172 different countries. That's insane.
So what does that actually mean for you? It means you can process a photo for a US passport, then generate a digital code for a UK passport, or format an image for a Schengen visa, and you do it all using the exact same simple API endpoint. The API handles all that crazy complexity in the background.
Yeah, so basically, this one endpoint automates the entire compliance workflow. We're talking precise cropping, changing the background to exactly what's required, and checking the photo against dozens of rules, all just to make sure it won't get rejected by the government.
Okay, so you're probably wondering, how is all this power priced? Well, the model is designed to be super simple and scalable. It's just a straightforward pay-as-you-go system. No subscriptions, no hidden fees, none of that.
You can actually start using the paid features for as little as 5 cents a request. Like adding a custom watermark to an image? That's just a nickel. It's incredibly accessible.
Now, for that more advanced visa and passport stuff, the model rewards volume with automatic discounts. It's simple. You just add funds to your balance, and the more you deposit, the lower your per photo cost goes. It can drop all the way down to 20 cents for enterprise-level users.
And those other utility endpoints we talked about, like background removal and face enhancement, they're priced as just a simple percentage of whatever your current photo rate is. And the best part? Those powerful EXIF tools we saw earlier, always completely free to use. Okay, so how fast can you actually get this thing running in your own project? Well, it's designed to be incredibly fast. We're talking going from just an idea to implementation in a matter of minutes.
Seriously, you can be up and running in just 3 simple steps. First, you create a free account to get your developer dashboard. Second, you generate your API key. That's instant. And third, you just grab one of the ready-to-use cookbook examples and start building. That's it.
And look, this just shows you how ridiculously simple your first integration can be. This single curl command you're seeing, that is a fully functional request to remove an image background. It really is that easy to get started. So at the end of the day, you've got this incredibly powerful and versatile photo processing toolkit right at your fingertips, all accessible through one simple API. And that really leaves just one question for you, the developer. What are you going to build?
All right, let's talk about something you've probably done a dozen times, but never really thought about. Getting your official photo taken. You know, for your passport, your driver's license, your ID card, they all need one. And you might think it's a simple, straightforward thing. But, as we're about to see, that little photo opens up a window into a world that is, well, it's surprisingly complex. It's a total maze, actually.
I mean, seriously, how hard can a passport photo be, right? You pop down to the local pharmacy, you sit on that little stool, try not to smile. That's the hardest part. They snap a picture against a plain white background, and bam, you're done. It feels so simple, almost like an afterthought. But what you might not realize is that feeling of simplicity, well, it's kind of a luxury, and it totally depends on where you live.
So if you're in the US, this number probably rings a bell. 2 inches by 2 inches. It's the one you need for your passport, your visa, pretty much any official document. It's so common, you'd be forgiven for thinking, well, that must be the standard everywhere, right? Nope, not even close. You'd be very, very wrong.
Yeah, that familiar 2x2 square, that's really just our starting point. It feels so universal, but it's actually super local. So, what happens when we step outside that comfort zone? Let's take a little trip across the border and watch as this simple idea of one photo fits all completely falls apart.
And you don't even have to cross an ocean to see this whole system just unravel. Seriously, let's just look right next door. You're going to see just how fast the idea of a single, simple standard completely evaporates. Okay, get this. The USA, Canada, and Mexico, they're all neighbors, right? They share thousands of miles of border. But can they agree on the size of a passport photo? No way. The US is sticking with its 2x2 inches. Canada, they go for a much bigger, 5x7 centimeters. And Mexico, they use a totally different metric size, 35 by 45 millimeters. Inches, centimeters, millimeters, 3 neighbors, 3 completely different systems. This right here is the heart of the problem. There is no universal standard at all.
And look, this isn't just some weird North American thing. This is a global phenomenon. If we zoom out, what we just saw between those 3 neighbors, well, that pattern repeats itself over and over and over again all across the planet. It creates this absolutely dizzying maze of rules and regulations. And the scale of it all, it's honestly staggering. So the data we're looking at covers 164 different countries. Think about that. That's 164 different governments, each with its own specific, non-negotiable idea of what the perfect photo should look like. But trust me, the complexity, it doesn't stop there. It gets way deeper.
Because see, we're not just talking about passports. Oh, no. Across all those countries, there are 951 different types of official documents. We're talking passports, visas, national ID cards, driver's licenses, even things like firearms permits. And pretty much every single one has its own unique photo spec. It's just wild.
And if you really want to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, check this out. Let's just look at one territory, the Netherlands Antilles. You'd think it would be simple, right? Wrong. This one place requires 58, that's 58, different photo formats for all its different documents. 58! We're talking about specs in pixels and centimeters. They even have one with a weird name like one small kun. It is so hyper-specific, it is absolutely bewildering.
Let's just do a lightning round, a little glimpse of the global chaos. In the Bahamas, they want pixels, 480 by 640. In Dominica, they flipped the usual dimensions. It's 45 wide by 38 tall. Guatemala, they need a teeny tiny photo, just 2.6 by 3.2 centimeters. Argentina wants a perfect square, 4 by 4. Jamaica gets super specific, not just the size, but the background has to be pale blue. And Spain, of course, has its own special little rectangle. It is a total global free-for-all.
So, here's where it gets even more confusing. This whole mess isn't just about different countries disagreeing with each other. The complexity is often happening inside the same country. You'll have the very same government asking you for different photos for different documents. It makes no sense. Let's just take the UK as a perfect example.
Okay, look at this. If you need a passport or a driving license in the UK, you need a photo that's 35 millimeters wide by 45 millimeters tall. Okay, fine. Simple enough. But if you need an ID or residence card issued by the very same government, the dimensions are flipped. It's now 45 wide by 35 tall. It is such a tiny, subtle change, but you can bet that if you get it wrong, your whole application is getting tossed out.
And if you thought the UK was complicated, well, Canada takes this whole internal complexity thing to another level. Remember their passport photo, that big 5 by 7 centimeter one? Well, if you're applying for a Canadian visa, you need a 35 by 45 millimeter photo instead. Need a firearms license? That's another size entirely, 45 by 57 millimeters. All in all, Canada has at least 13 different photo specs for its own official documents. It's incredible.
So, you have to ask yourself, what is going on here? What are we supposed to make of this global mess of pixels and millimeters and inches? On the surface, it just feels like total chaos, right? Just random and completely unnecessary. But what if it's not random? What if there's a reason for all this madness? What if this mess is actually trying to tell us a story?
See, you can think of each of these unique measurements as a kind of bureaucratic fingerprint. When the quote talks about sovereignty, it means that every country wants to do things its own way. That specific 35 by 45 millimeter photo, that's like a tiny little declaration of independence. And then there's the legacy systems part. That's all about history. Maybe one country adopted a French standard 100 years ago. Another one followed a British system. Some switched to metric early on, while others are still using old equipment that's set up for inches. All these little decisions, made decades ago, are now basically frozen in time, and that's what creates all the friction we see today. So it isn't just chaos, it's like a living museum of how governments work. And all of this really leaves us with one big question. I mean, think about it. We live in an age of digital everything. We have facial recognition on our phones, we carry supercomputers in our pockets. So, in a world that is sprinting towards seamless digital identity, why on earth are we still stuck navigating this old paper-based system with, get this, nearly 1,000 different ways to look at one single human face? It's a fascinating question and really makes you wonder about the future of all of this.